You've likely seen the impressive tech demo of The Witcher 4 at this point, running on a base PS5 in 60 FPS. But it actually also reveals a lot of new information about the game, like where it takes place, our first look at a major city, and way more. Let's start with the cinematic part of the presentation, as we get our first look at a dangerous new foe here, the Manticore. This creature sports the body of a lion, the wings of a bat, and most dangerously the tail of a scorpion. We can see this tail is strong enough to skewer a man wearing full plate armor, so let's hope Ciri is as good at dodging as Geralt was in his prime. It's also strong enough to lift an entire carriage off the ground, so it definitely looks like a formidable monster to hunt. And fun fact, manticores were actually considered as enemies for Witcher 3 until they got cut, so this is a monster that CDPR have been thinking about for quite some time. Anyway, we then cut to Ciri as she investigates the scene of the manticore attack before heading back to town on horseback. And don't worry, I want to talk about the mount and the village soon enough, but there's something very interesting that happens as soon as Ciri starts talking to the man who gave her the contract. As you can see, there's no fade to black or other type of transition before going into the cutscene conversation. It seamlessly switches between the two. While that might seem like a small touch, a seamless transition helps to keep you immersed in the world, and by the looks of it, this is definitely a world you want to get lost in. Witcher 3 faded to black whenever you would enter a cutscene, as you can see here, but this new tech demo for Witcher 4 showcases a style of transition more similar to God of War, for example, which really did wonders for that game's immersion, so I imagine it will do some heavy lifting for Ciri's adventure too. And we now got confirmation of one of the locations we will see in The Witcher 4, as the demo takes place in the northern kingdom of Kovir, which lines up with earlier reports of the game being set in the far north of the Witcher world, but the devs also note that the new tech to render plants and trees is especially nice for Kovir with its dense forests and wild nature. So while I'm not ruling out the option that we'll visit some other part of the map as well, this information suggests that Kovir will be the main setting. And because the world of The Witcher has a lot of established lore, we can already gather some information about this new place. Kovir is an extremely mountainous region which also has access to many natural resources, so the region is home to many mines that harvest the minerals found in these mountains. While it might lack the military might of something like Nilfgaard, it is responsible for the trade and export of many sought after resources, including gold, which makes it a very important and pretty wealthy region. Which might not show all that much in Valdrest, the fishing town where Ciri has taken on the Manticore contract, but part of the charm of The Witcher has always been the smaller hamlets and villages that will help the world come alive. And that is very much on display here, as CDPR and Epic showcased some very impressive tech when it comes to NPCs and crowds. There's a wide variety of characters and models on display, but what mostly impressed me is how dynamic it all feels. One guard spits in your direction with disdain, probably due to you being a witcher, while other villagers are subtly pushed aside when Ciri worms her way through a crowd. She's not always that subtle though, as we later see her bumping into a man carrying a crate of apples, which then spills some of them on the ground. Pretty much as soon as that happens, a little kid jumps up to grab one off the ground and stuff it in his jacket, and even a nearby pig walks away from his pen to grab himself a nice snack. It's really impressive how much stuff is happening in the background, from fishermen trading their wares to a guy being thrown out of a tavern because he cheated at Gwent. And I'll touch on the card game in a little bit, so if you enjoyed the video so far, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to not miss our next Witcher video. While the NPC tech for crowded spaces is really impressive, you'll of course also spend a lot of time out in the wilderness where it's just you and your horse Kelpie. Whether this is the same Kelpie from the books, which was also Ciri's mount by the way, or if this is a different creature with the same name remains unclear, but I'm hoping it's the first. The original Kelpie is described as an amazing horse, being able to jump over relatively high walls, and she's summoned by rubbing a magical bracelet, which hopefully avoids some of the incidents Geralt had when calling for Roach. The tech demo also showcases there are muscles being simulated under the skin, making the horse's movement look super realistic. And I'm even more excited to see what that tech can do when it comes to animating monsters. There's also some sort of motion matching going on, making sure that Ciri's and Kelpie's movements are synced regardless of what angle you choose to mount the horse from. Which again might seem like a small thing, but one of my biggest problems when going back to The Witcher 3 now is how Geralt can feel a bit floaty to control. control. Matching movements to objects or other characters or creatures should make the player character feel more connected to the world and hopefully make Ciri control in a less floaty manner. Now I want to skip forward to the final part of the tech demo where we get our first look at the city of Lan Exeter. This is the winter capital of Gwent and a massive port town mostly known for the fact that it has no streets, only canals. So think of what The Witcher's version of a real life city like Venice or Amsterdam would look like. That is basically what this is. And that concept is very exciting to me, not just because Venice is one of my favorite cities I've ever visited. The fact that there is that much water in the city means we likely can't use Kelpie to get around, which is a little bit ironic since she is named after a sea monster. But yeah, that either means the little boats from The Witcher 3 are back, maybe it's the one we see in the river here actually, which will make Lan Exeter feel like a combination of the big city Novigrad and the islands of Skellige. Or it means that Ciri has a more agile way of getting around to avoid the canals altogether, maybe using the chained hook to swing around or by using her own unique magic. That's all speculation of course, but I think we can agree that the city looks gorgeous and I can't wait to go and explore it. And any big city of course has some major taverns and inns where there's likely someone in the corner waiting to play a round of Gwent with you. We actually learned Gwent will be part of Witcher 4 thanks to an interview by Easy Allies where the devs noted they cannot imagine a Witcher game without it. But in case you don't know, Gwent has evolved quite a bit from its humble roots as a side activity in Witcher 3. The Thronebreaker spin-off was basically a Gwent single player campaign with a full story attached, and the standalone Gwent game has added a ton of cards and even a new faction to the table. So I imagine that many of the lessons learned from those projects will be applied to make Gwent in Witcher 4 more challenging and even more addicting. Just be careful not to cheat or you'll get thrown out of the inn like that other guy. Now I have to talk about the elephant in the room regarding this whole tech demo, and that's how all of this is going to translate to the actual game. Because in case it wasn't clear, what is on display here is a playable demo of the tech behind The Witcher 4, not actual gameplay of The Witcher 4. Most of the elements we've discussed here won't change, I think. It would be weird to show a major city like Lan Exeter or reveal Ciri's horse as Kelpie and then not include it in the actual game. I also feel very confident about the setting of Gwent as that's been hinted at before, and the developers make note that the foliage tech is specifically nice for creating that region. It's mostly the graphic fidelity and the dynamic NPCs that remain hard to judge until we see the game in action, but some of the things they're showcasing here do look truly next gen. Combine that with the fact that the entire showcase was running at 60 FPS on a base PS5 with ray tracing on, gives me the confidence that the actual game will at least resemble this showcase in quality. But we have of course all been burned before by Cyberpunk, so I understand why a lot of people are skeptical too. For me, I'll hold off judgment on the actual game until we see it in action, which might still take a while. During a recent financial call, CDPR revealed they're not planning to release Witcher 4 by the end of 2026, placing it in Q1 2027 at the very earliest. While that does sound like a long wait, it will also give the team plenty of time to realize the full potential of UE5, and after what they've shown in the tech demo, that has me really excited. Let me know your thoughts in the comments and remember to subscribe as we'll keep you up to date on The Witcher 4 and other big upcoming open world games. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video, and you can watch our breakdown of the reveal trailer by clicking on the screen. I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.